Hey, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to crack the code on two English tenses that, let's be honest, trip up just about everyone: the present perfect simple and the present perfect continuous. So let's dive right in and get this sorted out once and for all. Okay, so take a look at these two sentences. They look almost identical, right? But believe it or not, they tell two totally different stories. One tiny change in the verb completely flips the meaning. So, what's the real difference? And more importantly, how do you know which one to use? That's exactly what we're going to figure out today. To make this all crystal clear, we're going to lean on one simple story to guide us through this whole thing. It's a story about a woman named Kate who's painting her bedroom. Simple, right? First up, let's tackle the present perfect continuous. And here's a little pro tip for you. The secret is literally right there in the name. That word continuous, well, it tells you everything you need to know about its main job. Its entire focus is on the activity, the process, the doing of the thing. We pull this tense out when we want to talk about the action itself, and we don't really care if it's finished or not. It's all about the effort, the energy being spent. So when we say she has been painting her bedroom, what image pops into your head? You probably see Kate, maybe with some paint splattered on her clothes, right? She's in the middle of the work. The key thing here is the activity. The painting is not finished. Our focus is 100% on that action in progress. All right, let's flip the coin and see the other side of this. Now we're looking at the present perfect simple. If the continuous tense is all about the action, the simple tense is about, well, something else entirely. You guessed it, it's all about the result, the outcome, the finished product. We use this tense when something is completed, and what we're really looking at are the consequences of that finished action. See how the focus just completely shifts? When we say she has painted her bedroom, we're not picturing Kate with a paintbrush anymore. We're standing in the doorway looking at a freshly painted room. Maybe the bedroom was green, and now, boom, it's yellow. The action is done. We are totally focused on that completed outcome. Okay, so you've got the core idea, activity versus result. That's huge. But here's another brilliant little tool to help you decide. It all comes down to two very simple questions. How long versus how many? Think about it. When your question is about duration, when you're asking how long, you're naturally focusing on the ongoing activity, the time you've spent doing something. How long have you been reading that book? The answer is going to be about the process, right? For about 2 hours. That just screams continuous tense. But if your question is about a countable result, if you're asking how many, your focus immediately snaps to completion. How many pages of that book have you read? The answer is a number, a concrete result, like 53 pages. That finished quantity, well, that just demands the simple tense. And this table just lays it out perfectly, doesn't it? She's been writing emails all morning is all about the duration, the how long. But she has sent lots of emails is about the result, the how many. Same thing with tennis. They've been playing since 2 o'clock is how long, while they've played 3 times is how many times, a finished number. It's such a great rule of thumb. Now, just when you think you've got this all figured out, English loves to throw a little curveball. Turns out there are certain verbs that just really don't like to be in the continuous form, even when we're talking about duration. These guys are called stative verbs. Basically, they describe a state, not an action. I mean, think about it. You don't actively do knowing or do liking, do you? They're states of being. And because they aren't activities, they almost always use the simple form. And here's the perfect example. Even though we're talking about a long time, you would never, ever say, I've been knowing. It just sounds weird, right? You can feel it. You'd always say, I've known. Because to know is a state. It's not an action. And just for fun, because English is weird, there's an exception to the exception. The verbs want and mean are these special little cases. You can absolutely say, I've been meaning to phone Anna. It's a super common phrase that emphasizes you've had that intention for a while. Okay, I know we've covered a lot. Activity versus result, how long versus how many, those tricky stative verbs. So let's put it all together into a super simple checklist you can use anytime you're stuck. Here it is, your 3-step guide. First, just ask yourself, what's my main point here? Is it the ongoing action or is it the finished result? If it's the action, you're probably asking, how long? And you're going to use the continuous. If it's the result, you're asking, how much or how many? And you'll go with the simple. This little mental checklist is your key. So, to wrap this all up, I'll leave you with a final thought that actually uses both tenses.
What is one new thing you have learned today? That's a result, right? And what have you been meaning to do with that new knowledge? That's an ongoing intention. Something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.